load controllers are the Achilles heel of microhydro projects, meaning they are the component that fails most frequently, causing a system that the community has spent many days and great effort into building to not work finally. And the key reason for this is electronic load controllers have parts that come from the outside, meaning they are not indigenous technology, so they require skills that are also from the outside. And so when these electronic components fail, there's typically no one there to repair. There's no capacity building there. The designs are not modular, where they can be replaced easily by local technicians. And since there are only a handful of electronic load controller developers, as the financial returns for such a product are very low, they tend to have exorbitant prices, and yet the technology is not innovated. Technologies in the consumer modern world have new revisions every 6 months at least, and technology for the poor, as electronic load controllers for microhydro systems, we're still using technology from 30 years ago. There's nothing that's changed on the user interface, which would be the most important part for a rural boy who's running the system to know what is going wrong with it. So our answer to these problems are to have a collective process in designing a load controller that works for most microhydro projects. If you talk to any developer, they will list the same issues: capacity building, lack of service, too expensive. We want to address all these issues in an open source design, which would bring what we want to the table. And then, if there are private developers that can at least meet this open source design and then come up with their own products which can compete with one another, we would be way ahead than where we are now.
Why we need to develop open source for the ELC? Because electrical component is different country to country, and I hope with open source the people at this country can modify it's more reliable for this they need like this one. Component of microelectronic like this one is the price is lowest and performance is highest. It's more easy to develop advanced technology for people who didn't know about electronic. You just repairment like this. You just cut the component and put new one, and now it's possible to do it.
If it's properly designed, properly tested, properly and simple, I think it's very good idea. But of course, local know-how, appropriate training, and how to build, how to maintain, and how to handle it is also more important. They must compete with existing load controller in the term of quality and cost. Yeah, this public open source load control must be then First, of course, it's reliable, and then affordable, cheaper in India, and it's not so complicated. That's the basic idea. I mean, once you try to have a lot of feature on it, then I think the cost and the complication will add up, and the objective of this open source would not be gained. It can be managed to be simple, reliable, and affordable. Then go ahead.
Important is for sustainable development of a sector, and especially hydropower as such, which is a long-term technology, that the people who are involved in it can make a living out of it. Yeah? If somebody is applying open source technology just for one hydropower plant and loses the interest on it because he cannot make a long-term living out of it, that's maybe also not a sustainable development. So it needs a lot of experience to run it sustainable, and it also needs to explain the villagers quite a lot about the technology and giving them access to after-sales service. Yeah? And that needs an enterprise making a living out of the technology, yeah? And not somebody just having the idea to help a village. Yeah? So, but I think it's not a solution just to take something from the internet, build one controller, fail, go all over the learning process in one village. Yeah? So village is not an experimental field. Yeah? So if you bring something to a village and you want to help them, this should be a professional thing, and it needs a professional backup.